Hey, what's up everyone? This is Factor from beatacademy.com, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at eMastered's new synth, Atom. Now I'm excited about this because at the very beginning when eMastered was creating this synth, they invited me on board to be a part of the process and asked if I would be willing to create and sound design the patches for this synth. So I'm super excited to give you a brief little walkthrough of how to use Atom and how I actually went about creating some of the sounds that you'll hear when you use this synth yourself. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So let's go ahead and load Atom. So open it up. And at first glance, it's pretty straightforward. You've got 3 oscillators that you can use, oscillator 1, 2, and 3, and the waveforms that you can choose for each oscillator. Your sine, your triangle, sawtooth, square, and noise. And we'll get to the other features in a little bit. In the top left-hand corner, you have LFO1 and LFO2. And you can assign what this LFO will be triggering just by clicking this drop-down menu and assigning this parameter to that LFO. And in the far right-hand corner, you have modulation envelope 1 and 2. And the same thing goes here. You can click this drop-down menu and assign this envelope to control whichever parameter you want. And they give you 3 drop-down menus here, so you can assign actually up to 3 different parameters to one specific modulation envelope. And this nice little GUI display that you see here is really where a lot of the AI starts to take place. It gives you a nice 3D rendering of the sound that you're creating in real time. So it's pretty cool. And on the bottom, you have your voicing, where you can apply some glide, which helps glide from one note to the next when you're performing on Atom. And you can set the sound to mono, and this is where you can switch it to legato. There's distortion. Just by clicking that, you can enable distortion on the sound and enable the filter, which has a low pass, high pass, both at 12 and 24 decibel. A delay, which you can set to ping pong or just basic stereo delay, and a reverb. Now let me walk you through the process of creating a sound from scratch. Now I have to admit, when I was first brought on board, I was a bit nervous because when I saw the synth, I was like, okay, I only have the basic waveforms to choose from. There's only so much I can do. And then how was I going to create so many patches for this synth using only the basic waveforms? And when I was just so used to sound designing with synthesizers that have, different multiple wave tables that you can drag and drop your samples in them and all that. But believe it or not, it actually became really fun creating unique sounding sounds for this using the layout that they have. So starting with oscillator 1, very self-explanatory. Your volume, your pitch, your fine tune, and a high cut filter here, so you can eliminate the highs, and a low cut so you can eliminate the lows. And then here are the different waveforms. So let's start with a sawtooth. And each oscillator allows you to have up to 8 voices per oscillator. And depending on where the detune knob is, that's going to determine the blend from the original sound to the detuned voicings. So let's go ahead and set this up to 4 voices, and let's start slowly turning the detune knob. So right immediately, just by turning that knob, we get that nice Hoover bass that we can use. So if we go an octave lower, so I'll do that here. Let's go a whole octave down. And then stereo knob, well, it actually widens up the stereo imaging of this, the detuned voicing. So let's bring this down. And let's go ahead and add our second oscillator to here and maybe choose a sine wave. And set the stereo all the way there. Maybe we can add a little bit of noise to that. So I'll just click the noise oscillator in oscillator 3 and eliminate some of the low end. Maybe just dull that noise out by using the onboard high cut on oscillator 3. And use the filter to filter out the signal from all 3 oscillators. And with a little bit of drive, filter drive to it. And set this to mono. and a little glide, so we get a nice little glide from one note to the other. So you can see how easy it is to manipulate the sounds that you're going to be creating when using Atom. Now, one thing I often do when trying out a new synth is I'll comb through the presets and dive through the patches, and I'll usually come across a patch and preset that will spark some creativity, and I then start hitting the ground running with an idea. And that was the mindset behind creating the sounds for Atom. Both eMastered team and myself really felt strongly about creating sounds that people will actually want to use in their projects. Now, I'm coming from a pop world production, and that's the world I've lived in for the past 19 years. And so that's a big influence in the sounds that I'm creating. But I also wanted to make sure that you would be able to open up the synth almost like a Swiss Army knife. You've got the bare essential sounds, and you can hit the ground running as well. So not only was I thinking about what sounds that I would want to use in my projects, but as I was also implementing what sounds are most commonly used in some of the best top charting songs out there today. So I've got a project open. Kind of want to walk you through, I'm using Atom in this project, and I'm going to walk you through some of the sounds and presets that I'm using in this. So let me just go ahead and play this right now. Start with this one here. Now this Atom it's the 808, and this is just the fat sub preset. If you go into the bass category right here, you can scroll all the way down to the fat sub. And I was like, I just love having that 808 straight, easy to go to 808 that I'm going to use on a vibe like this. And just cranked up the distortion a little bit on the mount, and that's it. It was ready to go. The next one is the bell sounds that I'm using here. So let me just solo that. We got this one here. Then I'm layering that same exact performance with another. And that is the Let's Do It patch here under chords. And we have another one playing the same part here. And that is the Bell Factory. And that's under the pluck category. And all three combined are really cool and give this nice performance. And then next we're using another Atom here. Atoms all over the place. And this one is a chord, and I'm using this for the pads, so I'll just... Yeah, this is the one I have for the pads. So here's the Atom here. And there we go. Actually just a pad created from scratch, just using a sine, a triangle, and a saw on each of the oscillators, and just filtering out. And then I'm layering that pad performance with another Atom here. And this is from the pad category. It's called Extremer. It's really cool together. So let's listen to everything once again. I know there are tons of synth plugins out there to choose from and that you can use to achieve to get the similar results, but Atom has a unique approach to how it creates its sound, and I had a really great time creating these sounds, and I was really focusing my attention on producing sounds and creating presets that would really help inspire you on your next project. So you can give it a try. You can visit eMastered.com, download a trial, check it out, see if the sounds inspire you. I hope they do. And as a gift to you for watching this video, I also like to give you some sounds as well. I've created a sample pack from some of my previous sessions over the past couple years. It's a Beat Academy sample pack loaded with construction kits, one-shots, loops, transition effects, and they're 100% royalty free, which means you can use them in your projects and share that music with the rest of the world. And it works in any DAW. Just simply drag and drop your sounds in there and hit the ground running. It's my gift to you, so simply visit www.beatacademy.com/pack and download this free sample pack today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.